Hey everyone, welcome back to My Understanding. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love getting to do these, have these chats with you guys, as well as just, listen to all the feedback that you guys have and learn more for myself along the way as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Today we've got a fun episode, and I think so, but that's just me. So today we're going to be kind of going over the hard truths that I've learned as a trainer, coaching hundreds of clients. So over the years that I've been doing this, everyone talks about how every single person is different in certain ways. And obviously that's very true. I mean, no two people are the exact same. And even when it comes to injuries, like we've talked about in the past, two people can have similar injuries and they'd still be a little bit different. So today I want to kind of go over how the multitude of clients that I've trained or have had coworkers train, and just talking to them and their experiences, some of the hard truths for just training as well as kind of just life in general, I guess. We'll see where this takes us. But yeah, so I'm very excited to kind of go over some of these. We're going to be going over just like the difference in like, okay, how does knowledge affect somebody's motivation? We're going to be understanding like, hey, that doesn't just affect people. There's a lot more behind it all. We're going to be going over people's like motivation and why it, wavers, even though they're always kind of set on a goal. So we're going to be going over a lot of different things. But what I want to start with, I guess, is early on in my career, I always thought that like knowledge and effort were enough. So early on in the years that I was training, I was always like, okay, all that matters, I just gotta, I gotta really give it my all, help these people. I have to do so much work inside and outside of work. I'm like, I want to make sure that I'm like taking care of these people and that there's nothing that they need to worry about, and that I just kind of take it all on myself, basically. And as long as I'm coaching them, they'll be fine. But the reality was that wasn't always true. Coaching hundreds of people kind of changed that perspective for me over time, because it kind of shifted from the mindset of like, okay, I'm in control. I can do all this. As long as I'm a great trainer, they're going to succeed. And, you can definitely become a very good trainer. You can get lots of experience and it goes a long way. But my perspective began to change over time of like, okay, sometimes it's not about all on me. It's not my responsibility whether they succeed or not. There's a lot more that goes into that. And so, there aren't really like textbook answers always. And so that's one of the things that I want to kind of talk about is like the things that I'm going over aren't necessarily textbook lessons. They're not like things that, I read in a book that this is exactly how it is. They're lived ones. They're lived experiences that I've had with my clients, that some of my fellow coworkers have had with their clients. So there's a lot that's going to be my goal is to try and go over. And I want to talk about life experiences for clients and how these kind of can affect everyone, not just trainers, but the clients as well, like I was saying. So I think one of the first kind of hard truths that I had mentioned a little bit was how knowledge alone doesn't change people. I used to think that having a better education meant better results, which to an extent it can, but also to an extent it doesn't. So the big thing that like I was learning is, for me, I was somebody who I didn't go to college. I shouldn't say that. I went to college. I did not graduate college. And part of that was because I had, a lot of learning disabilities that I was not aware of during these times. And throughout school growing up and stuff, for me, it was always very difficult to learn. I always felt like I was stupid. I had a lot of, I felt like I had gotten made fun of a lot growing up. I look back and I realized that it was probably just my friends goofing around, but I didn't know the difference because I felt dumb compared to all of my friends who were very smart. And so as I've gotten older, I'm like, okay, I need to learn as much as I can. And so I've gotten multiple certifications through different like businesses, companies, renowned organizations to help kind of increase my knowledge as opposed to just going through college. So I've gotten lots of life experience, and I've gotten plenty of certifications as well. And I say plenty as if that means something. The reality is in this line of work, you're constantly learning. And so that's where you have to understand, like, it doesn't always matter how much you know, because you're dealing with people. And like I said earlier, no one person is the same. And the reality is most people kind of already know what to do to get started. It's more so just like how to apply the knowledge that you have to life. And that's kind of the hard part, because knowledge is only part of it. Application or execution of that knowledge is the hard part. That's that second piece that a lot of people tend to miss. And that's where you have to have the experience. And so I'm not saying I'm, the best trainer out there by any means. As a matter of fact, I know plenty of trainers that are far better than me. And I have a lot of respect for them. And I love getting to talk with them, hear their life experiences as well. And, you've seen some of them on here. And it's a great time for me because I really do. I'm super passionate about this. And so I am constantly doing my best to continue learning, to build up my knowledge. But a lot of what that comes with is it's a slow process, because I also realize, hey, I can know all of these complicated facts. I can know all of these intricate details of how the body works. I can understand, okay, how to fix these certain injuries. I know how to build these great programs for the clients. But I'm not with that client 24/7. I'm with those clients for, anywhere from 1 to 3 hours a week. How can I help hold them accountable for the other, 100 plus hours a week where I'm not with them? And that's the hard part. And so that's where it was like, okay, in the beginning, it was always, I just need to learn more. I need to know how everything works. I need to know the body inside and out, how to rehab any injury. I need to know all these things. And I wasn't taking into account, okay, hold on a second. I'm really only with these people for like a very small percentage of the time. So what the heck am I going to do with that? I have to figure out how to maximize that time. And so over time, coaching has kind of become more about like changed behavior. How can I help them, the client, change their behavior and not just provide like an information dump? So it's a kind of a delicate balance of like, okay, I have to know what I'm talking about. I can't just be, blowing smoke, just not a clue what's going on. Because then I probably also wouldn't make it very far. People would look at me like I'm an idiot. And I will say there are some people out there that make that work, and it astounds me. But hey, to each their own. And so that's kind of, I would say, one of the hard truths that I have learned in my time is like, it's not always how much you know, but it's about that experience and knowing how to apply the knowledge of what you know. Yeah. So that's the first one that I think was a big one for me. And it took me a long time to kind of learn. I mean, I've been doing this for years, and I'd be willing to say over the last like 3-4 years is probably when I've learned that the most. Like I kind of over time was gradually learning it, but I think it's about 3 to 4 years ago is like when it really hit me like, okay, it's not just about how much I know, but it's about, okay, how can I help somebody apply this and help them build up that motivation to do the right thing even when I'm not there. Kind of like integrity, there's a sense of that where it's like, okay, I'm going to help teach you. I'm going to kind of show you what you need to do. Can I trust you to now go and do that outside of here? And so that's one of those things where it's like, if you're a new trainer, you might not fully understand that. You might understand that to a certain degree, but the reality is a lot of our job and a lot of the experience here as a trainer is us trying to help change people's behavior so that way they can understand, okay, I'm paying this money to have somebody help shape my body or fix my injuries. And if you're only meeting with that person 1 to 3 hours a week, you might start to, as a client, you might be thinking, okay, why the heck isn't this working? But you're not doing all the things outside of there that they're telling you to do. And as a trainer, you should be understanding, okay, it is my job to help them understand what they need to do outside of here. So I'd say that's like the first one. I think the second hard truth, it kind of ties into that a little bit, which is just like the idea that motivation is like temporary. I'm saying like a lot. And that's just bad habits. I'm going to slow the process down just a tiny bit. I got to take some deep breaths, you know? Yeah. Motivation is temporary, you guys. And that really is one of the, I think, in my opinion, one of the biggest key factors for people falling off of their plan, losing the will to continue going on, just not wanting to finish out a program that has been made for them, is the loss of that motivation. Whether that be from, okay, hey, you're not seeing, the progress in your weight loss. Maybe the injury is still around. You've tried a lot of different things. You've seen multiple doctors. You've, gone to a lot of physical therapists, and, maybe you've even tried a lot of different personal trainers, and just nothing is really working. And so that loss of motivation can be killer, honestly. I mean, I've seen so many different cases from people where it's like the weight loss journey and they're just like, yeah, this isn't going to happen. There's nothing that I can do. I've tried all of these diets and it's all just temporary. And so you get into this bad mindset of like, there's no way that I can overcome it. I'm done. I'm a lost cause. Oh, life is woe. And I joke, but it really is. That is an actual thing. Like, people really do believe that they're a lost cause sometimes. And it's very sad to see. It is, because along the line, somebody failed you and probably didn't take responsibility and maybe even blamed you. And that's a horrible thing. And I'm so sorry. And that is my biggest goal as a trainer, is to never have somebody feel like a lost cause. Even if they come to me and there's something that I can't help them with, I know that the human body is an incredible thing. And so I will always try and encourage them to seek help from somebody else that I know can help them. And so that's as a quick little sidestep. I hope you don't mind. If you do, well, then you can skip this part, but I'm going on it. As a trainer, you should always be trying to expand your friends, I guess, like your business, in a sense of like people that word is not coming to my mind right now. But like, you should be trying to get to know as many people in different fields of expertise that you can, because then it's like, great. If there is something you can't do, boom, I know this guy, Frederick, he's a great nutritionist. He can take care of you. Or I got, Bill and Ted, they're my X-ray and MRI techs. I got you. So you've got the more people that that you can refer your clients to, or somebody else, the better that looks on you, because it shows that you're well known. And it lets the person who's in front of you, who needs your help, be able to be like, okay, cool. Like, I know that this guy knows his stuff. I can always come back to him if I need help in a certain area. So yeah, just try and expand your community, we'll say. This is just one of those days. These words are not coming to me, people. Bear with me. But yeah, so off the soapbox on that side a little bit, kind of back on track for the motivation. Even like the really and most excited clients will lose motivation. So even if you get somebody, even if you are the person who's super excited right off the bat, you're so motivated, you're ready to go, you're like, frick yeah, like this is it. This is my time. I'm about to get shredded. I'm about to fix these broken bones. I'm about to be the next Arnold. Even the most excited person, if things start taking longer than you expected, certain things don't go your way, that motivation can fade off. And so that's where it's like, okay, as a trainer, you have to understand not everything goes according to plan. I kind of feel like that's just a given in life, actually. I don't know a single person who's gone through their entire life and was like, yeah, dude, bumps in the road? What are those? Never heard of them. Yeah, that's not a thing. If it is, that person could just be clinically insane. Just my own personal take. But yeah, so understanding motivation is temporary. So finding a way to help keep your client, not necessarily keep them motivated, but help to re-motivate them, whether that's by coming up with goals, reminding them of like their why, basically, why they started this journey in the first place, is a great way to help keep somebody motivated. And so, or even yourself, like if you're getting ready to start a journey, think of all the reasons why you want to start this journey. You know, why do you want to lose the weight? Why do you want to rehab your injuries? Why do you want to put on so much muscle? What is the reason behind this journey that you're about to start taking? And it's got to be something pretty solid. It's not, oh yeah, I want to put on, 15 pounds of muscle because I think it'd be cool. It's like, okay, buddy. All right. Good for you. Okay, but why, like, where did the idea that it'd be cool come from? Huh? And then there's usually things behind that. It's like, okay, maybe because, when I was 10 years old, I was getting picked on. And then there's this, 10th grader who came to my rescue and he was freaking jacked. And then he was super nice. Something along those lines. And so then that motivates you. And then you have something to tie your motivation into. So when you do start feeling like you're, struggling and you're losing that motivation, you can kind of go back and be like, okay, why the heck did I start this in the first place? And that is a great thing to help kind of remotivate you then. Because then it's like, oh, that's right. Okay, cool. And honestly, it's very similar with like marriage. You write your vows and everything and you try to keep those. I hope. Just me also, could be, I don't know. But you keep those vows because a lot of times when you're struggling in your marriage or you're having like a tough time, you can look back on those vows or things that you wrote about your spouse that remind you, okay, that's why we got married in the first place. It's because I love this person through sickness and health, for better or worse. You have that thing to look back on and read, remind you of what got you started in the first place, and remind you of where you are trying to go to. Because it's so easy to lose track and lose sight of what you're doing if you don't have like a starting spot and a spot you're trying to get to. Now, the big key is don't let your goal be the final destination, because progress to get you to that goal, if you don't have systems in place, if you don't have routines, and even this is going to sound weird, if you don't have like forgiveness, then those goals are going to become very hard to reach. So as a trainer, it's your job to kind of come up with systems and routines to help your client get to their goals and past them. Because the reality is if you only set like, okay, this is my one goal. Once I get there, I'm done. Once you reach that goal, what are you doing afterwards? You're going to start backtracking? You're just going to stay there forever? Like, you want to be able to understand what it takes to get to the goal, how to, at their bare minimum, maintain it, or even potentially succeed it. Because if you know what it takes to get somewhere, you're going to be curious, okay, what does it take to get to that next level? Now, that forgiveness part comes in on both the trainer and the client. And this is my own opinion again, from just my experience, but like the client, you need to have forgiveness for yourself. You need to be able to understand not everything is going to go according to plan. You need to be able to forgive yourself for the missed meals, for the late night snacks, for the days of working out that you just didn't feel like going to. Maybe you were having a hard day. You need to be able to forgive yourself for those small mistakes. Otherwise, they'll eat you up and you'll just, I had a burger last night, maybe some ice cream from McDonald's. This journey's done. I got nothing. Time to scrap it. Yeah. So you got to be able to learn, okay, hey, it's a hiccup. It's a small bump in the road. happens to literally every single person. So how do you bounce back from that? Because if you just continue to dwell on it, it's going to eat you up just like you ate that burger. So you have to be able to forgive yourself and figure out how to continue moving on and be like, learn from all our mistakes. That's the big key. Sorry. I just sometimes, we're good. We're great. Yeah. So progress depends on systems and routines. And then the outlier, I guess, could be the forgiveness portion. As a trainer, you have to be able to similarly forgive yourself if, because this is a continuously learning experience. Like we're all learning. Science is constantly, coming out with new studies all the time. So you have to be able to forgive yourself if there was something that maybe you misunderstood, you didn't necessarily know. You also have to be able to forgive the client, let them know like, hey, I know you've had these mistakes. It's okay. I'm not here to beat you up about it. I just also want to make sure that you understand kind of, where we're at. Because it's not your responsibility to make sure that they are not eating food outside of here that they shouldn't. And a lot of times we try and take that on. As trainers, I know, especially for myself, for a lot of years, if my client was making mistakes outside of here or they weren't reaching their goals, and I was trying to tell them all this stuff while we're in session, I start taking it on myself. And I'm like, oh, frick, dude, like, I'm such a horrible trainer. Why aren't my clients meeting their goals? Like, I feel like I'm failing. Like, I'm such a bad, like, why are they even with me? Like, you start ruminating, you start having all these like imposter syndrome thoughts. But the reality is we're not with them that 24/7. So when we're not with them, it is now their responsibility to hold themselves accountable. We can do our part when we're with them to, hey, encourage them, let them know like, hey, it's okay. Like we made a mistake. That's fine as part of the journey because we know it is. We've had our own journey. That's why we're where we're at now. We've had those mistakes. And so we can kind of, I want to say it's empathize. I always get these two mixed up, empathize and sympathize. I think it's empathize. If I'm wrong, just agree with me. It's okay. So we can be there because it's like, cool, we've had similar struggles. We've gone through similar things. So we can let them know, hey, it's just a small bump in the road. It's okay. And help them to not feel as bad about it. Because as long as they know, which a majority of the time they do, they know when they eat a piece of cake they probably shouldn't have. So they understand those. It's not, we shouldn't be beating them up. Oh, you had that piece of cake. Give me 15 burpees. I'm going to make you regret doing that. Drop it. Give me more. Like that's not, some people do that. If that's like your style, okay, hey, you know what? If you think that if that works for you, then go for it. Some people do work that way. My own experience, I've just found more success in my own experience doing it the way where it's like, hey, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Let's just, let's do better. Because we're trying to do better every time. So I've noticed over the years that my job has just shifted from I'm here to just hype you up all the time to helping kind of build a little bit of structure. So it's like, hey, we're here to build habits. We're here to build systems and routines. And I'm here to help remind you to forgive yourself when you mess up those systems and routines. So I'd say that was kind of the second hard truth that I've learned over the years of like, it's so easy to dwell on all the mistakes and just start a journey without understanding why you're starting it and then give up at the first sign of something's not working. It's so easy to lose that motivation. And so that was like the second hard truth is, hey, motivation really is temporary. You can't expect somebody to just stay super hyped about it through the entire journey. Just not how life works. And that's okay. That's part of the beauty of it. Is you get to learn, you get to grow. And when you reach your final like goal, and when you reach that initial destination, oh my goodness, let me tell you, freaking great. Okay? It really is one of the most satisfying feelings. Every time I have a client like reach their goals, there's never not been a time where they were like, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Like you really helped push me. You helped stick it out with me. And they're always very grateful. And it's such a satisfying feeling. That's why I'm in this field. is because I love getting to see that change where you had an impact on somebody's life. Like, that's so freaking incredible. It really is. So keep in mind, motivation is temporary. So you have to learn how to build systems, routines, and learn how to forgive yourself. It is a journey. So I want to take a quick moment, just to pause, because I got to get better at this, building structures and routines, right, people? Great segue. Thanks. So, sorry, I'm a dork. Yeah, if you guys have been enjoying the podcast so far, enjoy just watching me fumble over all of my words or any other chaos that I choose to bring into this thing. If you guys have been enjoying it, it would really mean a whole lot if you guys could give this, this video a like, a subscribe, comment on it, tell me how weird I am, something along those lines. Maybe a takeaway you got from a video. But yeah, it would mean a whole lot if you guys just did one of those, all of them, all the above. That would be fantastic. Maybe even share with a friend. That'd be great too. Would really appreciate it. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. And I'm excited to kind of hop back here in a second to give you guys the other hard truths. We've got about 3 more to go over. So thank you guys so much. And let's keep it going. So the hard truth for number 3 that I've learned is that, and I tried to tie a lot of these in. So this third one, kind of consistency, beats the perfect plan, basically. So we're going to just discuss the difference between what the perfect plan is, or would be, basically, and why the perfect plan doesn't actually exist. So the perfect plan in my mind is kind of a myth when it comes to training people, because I've noticed that it doesn't matter how much time and effort somebody puts into a plan, like a program, if the client isn't able to accomplish that plan, what the heck are you doing? Clearly, it's not the perfect plan. The perfect plan is something that the client is able to follow and progress with and be able to be the most consistent at. That's the perfect plan. I've seen average plans where it's like, cool, this might not have taken a whole lot of time to build, but it outperforms, or the client that's doing that reaches their goals a lot quicker than somebody that is like, okay, I've put hours upon hours into this plan. Why the heck is my person not reaching any goals? And it's because you almost overwhelm the person. It's like that idea of like an information overload, where it's like you're throwing too much at the person, and the client's like, what the heck what? You want me to eat how much calories? How many protein? What? What's a carb? Like, joking, but like, yes, when you overload somebody, the perfect plan can fall apart. And that's why I say, like, sometimes that average plan is the perfect plan. Because when you're able to just give somebody something that they can do consistently, that's always going to yield better results. Because this is a field of consistency. Your health journey is a journey of consistency. Because if you go ham for a couple months and you're dialed and locked in, but then it ends after 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and you don't do it anymore for the next, 50 years. Well, a whole lot of good that plan, did you? You could have gotten super shredded, super fit, rehabbed all the injuries, but then all of a sudden, hey, next 50 years, you don't do a dang thing. Like, it doesn't even matter. But if you can build a plan that somebody can do for the next 50 years of their life and slowly progress like that, perfecto. I don't know why I did that. It's great. We love that. That consistency is the biggest key. The best program is one that somebody can repeat for forever. And it kind of ties into that last one because, like I mentioned, obviously, bumps are going to occur along the way. And if somebody feels like when they hit one of those bumps that they take a huge jump back because that perfect plan has so much information that there's no way they can get back on track, that's going to make them feel like, okay, there's no hope, I'm done. But sometimes if you give that person just a little bit and they're doing it and they're going and they're really consistent, and then they hit a bump and they just fall back a little bit because they're like, oh, I don't have as much to do, I can get back on track. And that's why this field is so much fun and tricky, is because, I mean, like we talked about in the beginning, everyone is different. And so as a trainer, it's our job to kind of understand, okay, what type of client am I dealing with? Is this somebody who does need a lot of information? Maybe it's like a doctor or somebody who's like, hey, I'm just trying to, take care of my health. Can I get some nutritional help me rehab some injuries, maybe help me put on a couple pounds of muscle? Like, they might love that information because they want to learn. Could be a learning type of client. Or you have, a parent of like 3, 4, 5 kids, and they're just like, I'm so overwhelmed by life. I'm super stressed out all the time. I don't really have time for any of this. Like, what is the most basic thing you can give me? And then it's like, perfect. We got you covered. And so then you just give them that little bit that they can do forever and help kind of guide them along that path and encourage them and forgive them when they trip and help keep them going. That consistency will build up over time. And so that perfect plan that I've learned over the years is consistency. There is no perfect plan unless it's a plan that somebody can do and progress in forever. That's the third one. Thanks. So the fourth kind of hard truth that I've learned is that life stress is one of the hardest things and variables to try and overcome and help a client manage. I would say, yeah, genuinely one of the hardest, because at life stress as a variable covers so many things. And honestly, when I first started training, that was not even on my radar at all. I was like, the life stress, what? That's not something I need to worry about. Like, I'm just here to train them. Like, I really thought that my time as a trainer, I was like, as long as I kill it in here in this session, I'm good. Doesn't matter what happens outside of here. That ain't a thing. Not mine. Mm-mm. And I could not have been more wrong. So life stress, I would say, matters more than training variables. So kind of along that perfect plan, if you have them working out, multiple hours a day, every single day, you're having them, okay, I need you working out an hour and a half a day. I want you walking for an hour a day. I want you, doing the sauna 10 or 15 minutes every single day. Don't forget to do the cold plunge. By the way, I need you to meal prep. If you're having them do all these things and you get somebody who's working like a full-time job, sleeping like crap already, maybe isn't in a great place in like their relationships, finances are all over the place. Like, all of those things are going to affect their progress. And then you're adding on so many of these other things. Like, you're now adding on to that stress. Now it's like, great. Now the gym is also a stress. Wonderful. That's the last thing they need. And I think that's one of like the hard truths is it's like, if you want somebody to achieve their goals, if you want to achieve your goals, you need to understand, okay, what is going on in your life, and be very real with yourself. Okay, what is stressing you out? What are all of the variables in your life that you feel like you're not in control of? And be able to kind of organize it a little bit and help learn to de-stress from all of it, or from as much of it as you can, I guess. And having that stress management plan goes a long way. Because again, we're only going to be, as trainers, we're only going to be with the client for a certain amount of hours a week. And it's not a lot. And so the body doesn't differentiate training stress from life stress. You are still putting your body under stress. That's a lot of stress. So in order to help that, that's why you kind of need to understand, okay, wow, yeah, I have a very stressful job. I'm not doing great, like financially. Maybe I'm not sleeping good. My recovery is trash. Like, okay, should I be adding on a workout to this day as well? Or what should I be doing instead? And so being able to see, okay, cool. Maybe I don't go and, hit a full total body day after I just worked for, 12 hours and got crapped on at my job because they hate me or something, or I hate them. I don't know. So being able to manage your stress or help your client manage their stress. Whoa, huge. Because if you are stressed out all the time and you're trying to work out or you're trying to like eat right, like a lot of that stress holds on to body fat, holds on to inflammation. A lot of times it'll even increase it. And so you can't expect to get really good results when the entire time that you're trying to achieve these things, you're allowing yourself to be stressed out 24/7. Stress affects everything. It affects your sleep. It affects your relationships. It affects your job. It affects your hormones. Like it is insane how much the stress kills. It really does. That is one of the hardest truths that I've learned as a trainer is like, okay, your body doesn't tell the difference between outside life stress and then working out stress. It just, same category. You might view it differently, but the body itself still is taking on stress. So you have to figure out how to manage it, or your trainer has to help you kind of, again, take these steps in learning how to manage it. Otherwise, you are going to see it's not going to be a small bump. That's going to be like a freaking pitfall you're about to drive into. So that's one of the biggest things I would say to take note of. Don't want to be driving into a pitfall. So I would say for the final hard truth, it kind of, I really wanted this one to try and almost I wanted this to, wow, I'm really having a brain fart. Okay, we're doing great, guys. Trying to figure out my words and they're not coming to me tonight. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me. It's one of those days. We're doing wonderful though. Totally. So the idea for this fifth hard truth is I wanted it to just be like a collection of everything that I talked about and kind of just organize it slightly. So I would say this fifth one is just people quit because they feel like they've failed. So missed workouts turn into shame spirals. So kind of like we talked about earlier a little bit, where it's like, hey, they had a piece of cake. Maybe they just missed a workout or they didn't get their steps in for the day. If people are feeling like they're missing a certain step in a program, or if, they're going on their journey and they, have a day that they missed, a lot of times with everything else in life that's going on, they're going to start spiraling, or at least, I know I did. That's for sure. There's plenty of times where I'm where I'm at now, but there's been plenty of times in my journey where I was like, I haven't worked out in like a week. I'm done. Or I haven't worked out in a month. Guess I shouldn't work out anymore. Time to just be a couch potato and eat some potato chips. It's a very serious thing. But no matter how many times you feel like you failed or you hit these spirals downward, you have to understand that consistency still rules above all. If you feel like you're losing that motivation, freaking just screw it. Just, even if you don't want to, just show up. I think one of the big things that I've learned and have been able to word recently is everything is an excuse not to go to the gym until you allow everything to be an excuse to go to the gym. Having a hard day, missing your steps, eating off of the plan for a day, a week, a month. Big whoop. 1 month in the span of your lifetime. So small. So small. You have choices to make every single day. And I truly believe that how you end up in your life is just a product of a series of choices that you make on a day-to-day basis. So you have the choice every single day what you're going to do. And you're going to mess up. And that's okay. Miss a workout. Maybe you had a super stressful day. Do something to relieve your stress. That doesn't mean you're failing. It may feel that way, but understand that, hey, if you have a trainer, they should be there to try and help you manage that stress, help encourage you, be there for you. If you don't have a trainer, get a community. You're much more likely to succeed if you have people around you that are there to support you in almost anything, in my opinion. So find people to help take along this journey with you, even if they're not doing the exact same thing. If you have people who know what you're trying to achieve, they can be there for you. So when you feel like you've failed or you are currently failing, you have that choice to make to try and outreach. And that goes a long way, because each choice that you make will feel very big until you look back on it 5 years later. And then you're like, well, okay, maybe that one piece of cake really didn't do much for me. Maybe it really didn't hurt me at all. Think about that. You can think back and be like, okay, when was did I eat a piece of cake 5 years ago? Like, when was the last time I did? Or even not cake, maybe ice cream, something. I don't know, whatever you people like. That came across very aggressive. I am so sorry. So the big key is each choice feels very big in the moment, but in the broad scheme of things, it has a very small impact. But if you're consistently making these poor choices, it builds up. And so that's where you have to have that integrity or that help from somebody else, that accountability to be like, hey, you've been struggling. It's okay. We have our seasons. Let's get back on track. What do we need to swap up? What do we need to change in our lives, as small as it may be, to help get us back on track? Most people, most clients are going to quit because they're injured or busy or they're discouraged. And there's probably a lot of other categories as well. And so as a trainer, we have to be able to look at our clients and be like, okay, cool. What are they going through in life right now? Not just, okay, what are we struggling with here in the gym? Oh, we're not doing good on one of our lifts. Oh, dang. Okay. Maybe we need to do it more. Well, take a step back, look at the broad scheme of things. What's going on in their life? How's their stress? How's their sleep? How's their hormones? Are they doing okay? Just because something isn't succeeding in the gym doesn't mean that the reason is because of something in the gym. You have to be able to kind of look around at things and be like, okay, what could be going on here that maybe I'm not seeing? As a trainer, that's kind of what your mindset should be. And then, okay, clearly everything else is going on. Okay, maybe you are. What can you do to help fix things? Because people and clients, we all need help. Like, we all need accountability. It helps to know that there's somebody in your corner. So being able to essentially teach, I don't know why I put quotes around that, as a trainer, you should be learning how to kind of teach like restart skills, basically. And by that, I basically just mean, okay, when somebody does feel like they're failing, when somebody feels like, okay, they've lost their motivation, maybe they're just ready to give up, they feel like they're hopeless, teaching them how to restart or even just pick up from where they left off is just as important as creating their program. I'd be willing to say almost even more important because it's something everybody goes through. So teaching those restart skills or how to pick yourself back up should be something that, in my opinion, every trainer should be understanding how to learn. It's kind of that part of that behavior change. It is critical. And if you don't have a trainer and it's something you're trying to do on your own, do some research on, okay, behavior change. How can I pick up from where I left off when I feel like I'm failing, when I feel like, okay, I'm scratched, I'm done. How do you pick yourself back up and continue going on? Because that's gonna take you a long way, because that's what will help build that consistency as opposed to allowing yourself to quit. So that restarting skill, that picking yourself back up, the discipline to keep going, even when you're not motivated, huge. So in my opinion, that was one of the harder truths as well that I had to learn, was because I had originally thought like, okay, my clients, if they're with me, I'm going to hype them up. They're going to stay motivated the entire time. Everything's going to go smoothly. I got this in the bag. Because I wanted to be that good of a trainer. And let me tell you, I don't think I've been humbled a lot quicker. And so over the years, that's been the big thing that I think I've learned is one of the hard truths is like, how am I going to be able to help pick somebody back up who feels like they've failed? And how am I going to take the responsibility that I should if I messed up? And how am I also going to let go of the responsibility that's not mine to hold? Those are, I would say, some of the hardest truths that I've learned as a trainer, just in my own personal experience. And I have no doubt that there are other hard truths out there that maybe other trainers have learned, other people in different professions have learned as well, or even just people on their own journey. And so I really appreciate you guys kind of tuning in today and letting me kind of rant a little bit about this topic. But it was one that I wanted to kind of share because I know everyone is going through their own journey, and I wanted this to just be a little bit of like a light. So for somebody who is maybe struggling on their journey right now, I wanted this to be something where you can kind of listen in and just be like, okay, it's going to be okay, because it is. If you made a mistake, maybe you've fallen off for a week or more, it's okay. Get yourself back up, find something to help remotivate you, or find somebody to help hold you accountable when you are struggling with that motivation. Because there's no reason why you should not be able to achieve your goals if it's something you really want. And that's kind of the big key, is if you don't want it and you're not willing to make the decisions to do it, then that's your choice. But keep in mind, it's a choice. And as stressful as life gets, as busy as life gets, and it may seem crazy busy, we still got our choices. And you can choose to continue on your journey even after you failed. So I appreciate you guys. And for my trainers out there, my fellow trainers, if if this is your first year, maybe your 5th year or 10th year or more, you guys are incredible people and you have a great heart for this. And so please use me as an outlet if you want. I'm always happy to listen in. I'm always happy to give advice if I can and help out where I'm able to. Because we're all a team. Whether I work with you or not, as trainers, we're all here for very similar reasons. We want to help people. And so I want to be able to help you guys as well in any way that I can. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, if you guys are all enjoying this content, please go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. leave a comment. Tell me maybe something that you really enjoyed about this, or leave, if you have questions, please feel free to leave questions as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening in. I really appreciate it. I love doing these, so we're going to continue doing them more like solo episodes. Yes, I'm continuing the podcast as well, but like solo episodes as well, I love doing. So we're going to do some of these more as well. Helps me learn because I get to learn topics, and other times it allows me to kind of just teach a little bit and express what I've learned. So thank you guys for tuning into my understanding. This was my understanding of some of the hard truths in training. I hope you all have a wonderful night or a good day, depending on where you're at. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys next episode.